Hi everyone, today I want to speak about Sean Mulryan. He is a multi-millionaire property developer, CEO of Ballymore Properties. Now he's been in the news because he's been talking about a 15-minute city. Now he has a plan to create his 15-minute city and the net zero plan in ATHLONE, the middle of Ireland. This is the great plan that Mulryan has. Of course, Mulryan hasn't plucked this out of thin air. This has been an agenda for many years in terms of moving towards a 15-minute city. But Mulryan, of course, was bailed out through NAMA, and at the same time is a big player in commercial real estate across England and also across Ireland as well. And Mulryan, of course, as well, has big political connections, a friend of Bertie Ahern. And there was claims made a number of years ago regarding Bertie Ahern making representations on behalf of a property development for Sean Mulryan, and also for being involved in the Galway tent. And of course he's friends with Brian Cowan as well. We all know about the Galway tent, where all those backhander shady deals were done with those developers. To grease the palms of those political connections. But he's been pushing this agenda towards the 15-minute city, and he said with the extra population coming into Ireland over the next number of years, up to 1 million people, they estimate by the end of the decade, they said it's looking for a €5 billion investment over 5 years. And of course, he said it's not about making money for himself, it's about the public good. But of course, it's the public-private partnership, which again is a gravy train towards privatisation. We've seen the so-called public-private partnership on our roads, and specifically around the toll roads as well, and not to mention housing and those companies making extortionate profits, private equity funds as well. And of course, Mulryan is trying to weasel his way in to make money out of this 15-minute city. Of course, this has the agenda towards the driverless electric vehicles and bicycles. And of course, he said it wants to be a state-led approach. Now, of course, the 15-minute city is all about convenience, isn't it? It's all about sustainability. But again, it's about the net zero agenda and about control. And of course, the World Economic Forum has been pushing this agenda. But domestically here in Ireland, it's also been Irish politicians pushing this agenda. People like James Geoghegan, in 2021, he was talking about a 15-minute city to say everything will be quite close by and convenient, and facilities will be fantastic for the people who are in those areas. But of course, it's not about accessing those areas and accessing those facilities. It's really about control. And at the same time, it's really an attack on people driving. It's a move towards sustainable forms of transport in terms of walking, cycling, and public transport, of course. And of course, this was piloted a number of years ago. It tried to be piloted in Oxford, but it was a massive public backlash around this, that you would have certain districts within your city that you could travel within, and you could have a certain amount of credits for those areas you could travel within. For instance, maybe after 100 trips across those districts, you would be then fined. And of course, who benefits from that? The very rich in society yet again. You really could not make any of this sort of stuff up. But again, it has its inception in a planner by the name of Carlos Moreno, who envisaged this plan back in 2016. And of course, he's been working with big entities such as the C40, which is a climate leadership group. Of course, this encompasses many of the world's biggest cities and is headed up by Sadiq Khan currently as the head of this organisation. And of course, their agenda is to move towards the 15-minute city. We see people like Hidalgo, who is the mayor of Paris, pushing this agenda as well. But of course, we saw the issues domestically here in Ireland during COVID, for instance, where people had to go within a certain amount of their areas in terms of the restrictions that were put in place, like the 2-kilometre restrictions and all these restrictions that were put in place, and people, probably a trial run for these 15-minute cities that they're all trying to plan. And of course, Eamon Ryan has been speaking about it a number of years ago in terms of the transport plans, to have all these transport infrastructure plans for the cities to connect them. So people wouldn't have to travel outside their districts. They'll have everything within their areas. Now, as I said, in theory, it sounds fantastic, but in practice, we know when you give these people at the top of society, especially the private interests, more control, We know what we're heading towards, at the same time towards digital ID, digital currency, and in terms of the camera operations that Gagan is trying to push through now through Dáil, and he's the representative for Fine Gael, remember, for Dublin as well. So watch this space over the next period of time. There'll be more talk about this 15-minute city, and it'll become a more common practice in mainstream media, but really fundamentally look what's behind it, whose interest it serves, and please spread my videos far and wide, share them, subscribe to my channel, and please, thanks for all your support in sharing my videos far and wide. I'm very grateful as well. So from Dublin, Slán, and take care. See you all soon. And thanks so much again for all the support.